Hey everybody, it's your boy Jack here, and today in this video, I'm going to be doing a movie review of this amazing movie here, aka Shazam. Besides that though, for those of you who don't know what Shazam is, it is an amazing movie done, set in the cinematic universe, the DC cinematic universe and everything. Really good movie, and I have to admit, for the first time in my life, being a comic book nerd here, I actually have like some good faith in Shazam. Like, I'm actually low-key excited for the future of Shazam and partially the DC universe, so like fingers crossed here. So yeah, besides that though, for those of you who do not know what Shazam is, like what the movie's about or anything like that, let me give you a bit of information about the film, who stars in it, what the Rotten Tomatoes rating is, and the overall description of the film. So yeah, so Shazam is directed by David Sandberg, it's produced by Peter Safran, and the screenplay is written by Henry Gayden. The film stars Zachary Levi as Shazam, Ashton Angel as Billy Batson, Jack Dylan Grazer as his best friend / brother, Jack Dylan Grazer, and Mark Strong as the villain Dr. Savannah. And then I got a low-key shout out Cooper Andrews, aka Jerry from The Walking Dead, because he's in this movie and I love his role. Besides that though, the film has a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, certified fresh as well. And the description for the film reads, "We all have superheroes inside of us. It just takes a bit of magic to bring it out. In 14-year-old Billy Batson's case, all he needs to do is shout out one word to transform him into the adult superhero Shazam. Still a kid at heart, Shazam revels in the new version of himself by doing what any other teen would do, by testing out the newfound powers. But he'll need to master them quickly before evil Dr. Thaddeus Savannah can take his hands on Shazam's magical abilities." So that is a description for the film. Now let me give you a bit of my thoughts. So firstly, let's talk a bit about the pros. So firstly, let's talk about the story itself. So the story itself for Shazam is really, really well done. It's well thought out, and it is really well established in the first act. And that's really important because it allows the second and third act to really just sort of play out its own story. It doesn't really need to have like a really long backstory that needs to be told in the second and third act. That would really, really take away like the great elements to this story. So one thing that makes Shazam successful is the fact that they use a lot of grounded storytelling. Obviously, I think one of the bigger problems with the DC universe and DC Comics is that like there are these big, crazy, massive stories, and cinematically speaking, they're harder to adapt because there's so many little details that the viewer needs to digest. But what makes this movie so great is that it has a grounded storyline. You see Billy Batson in the struggles of who he is as a character, and by having this grounded storyline, you don't just get a sort of like very shallow development as a character. You get a really great full story development of who Shazam is as a character and who Billy Batson is and everything, and sort of the divide between both characters, which sort of leads me into my next point of like how great the characters are written. Moving forward, let's transition towards the next point here, the characters. Now, the characters are amazing. That is what really makes this film, honestly. They have a really great idea of how every individual character sort of functions and works and everything, and it really meshes together really well. And they picked really, really great characters to really come together and like discuss and conflict, they picked really great characters and really great actors to really support those roles and support who these characters are, and it works really, really well. One of the great examples I can have is really with the sort of the duality between Shazam, with the Shazam identity and Billy Batson's identity and how it sort of changes throughout the film. I think that's really well done and really well thought out as a character, and you get a really great idea of how to dive into that. But how that really is dived into between both Zachary Levi's performance and Asher Angel's performance. As well, I think that Jack Dylan Grazer's performance, sort of as like the sidekick and like the sort of manager kind of role and everything, was really well done as well. Like, it was well thought out. It was sort of cool that he was sort of a bit of a nerd and he was sort of flipping out that his friend is a superhero, all that kind of stuff. And I think that's just awesome. I like that, and I think that like as well that was really well thought out, and like it was portrayed really well because the actor was really well able to really portray like grief or betrayal or like these wide ranges of emotion and everything in order to really understand like, okay, what his role is in comparison to Billy Batson. Overall, I feel like all the characters in Shazam are really well done and really well rounded. I felt like there was a really great ability to have a strong protagonist and a strong antagonist, but have a really great range of different actors and everything in between that really help support and justify the story, whether it's the foster family or whether it's Billy Batson's true mom and like biological mother and her performance. But I feel that either way, each character in the film really does help support and justify all the elements in the film itself. So moving forward, let's talk a bit about the cons. So one of the cons I didn't really like about the film was the 7 deadly sins, aka those like alien creatures that sort of like help possess like Dr. Savannah, those guys. So I really did like the character, like the beasts, the sins as characters. I really liked that. Obviously, got to shout out Neville Page, who helped sort of do that creature design. Like, I like it. It's freaking amazing. Like, come on, I love that. Like, how can you not love that? They're just sort of like badass like creatures and stuff. They sort of remind me of the Spiderwick Chronicles and stuff. But I really do like those characters, and I like the sort of horror twist that was put onto this film with those characters and everything. But one thing I didn't like is how they never really defined those creatures on which sin they relate to. And honestly, I'm not 100% sure why they didn't really mention or bring up which sins are related to which creature and everything. I really wish that they did that, because it would have helped create a bit more of a connection to those characters, to those beasts and everything, and like everything. And for me, I sort of knew, okay, which one was greed, which one was lust, which one was pride, that kind of thing, just based off of the simple character designs. But I wish we could have gotten some kind of like either name tag or some kind of like some kind of scene or moment in a scene where it's like, okay, this is greed, lust, all the 7 deadly sins going off and stuff. Just because I feel like you would have gotten a bit better of a connection. Now, obviously, it's sort of harder to spoil it, where it's like, okay, at the end, it's like the Dr. Savannah ends up being envy and stuff, but I just sort of wish that, that could have been put in there without the fact that, I sort of do wish that was put in there without the whole reveal of envy and everything, because I feel like it would have just created a better connection to the audience of why this power is so evil. Besides that, though, the other thing I wanted to talk about in Shazam is the humor used in the film. And honestly, I really did like a lot of the humor in the film. I thought it was good. I thought it was great. Like, I thought it was well thought out. And it was just sort of like, hey, that's good. I like that. But overall, one little critique I'd say about the film is not all the humor landed for me, at least. I felt like, okay, they have these funny lines, but it's like some of them where I was like, okay, cool, you're trying to make a funny moment. I see ya, I got ya. But I don't find it that funny. But like, obviously, humor is a bit subjective and everything. And that's sort of why it's harder to look at comedies and stuff and sort of judge them, because everybody has their own different opinions. But I felt like there were certain points within this film that some of the humor was sort of just pushed on you a bit, and it just sort of felt like, like I wish that moment didn't happen or whatever. Like, some of the one of the moments sort of includes, for me at least, the whole trailer scene where like he finds out he's bulletproof and everything, and he's in the convenience store. Like, I sort of wish that was somehow changed a bit and everything from the actual trailer, so you got that new original moment there, because it was just like, come on, like it just felt like I was rewatching the trailer again, and like I wouldn't say I love that. Um, but something I sort of want to keep in mind as well in reflection to the humor in the film is that obviously this film is sort of rated for different audiences and everything. You obviously have like it's not just for me being a 20-something-year-old male. It's also for like little kids and everything, or like it's for a wide range, a wide demographic. Um, but yeah, besides that, though, that is just my thoughts about Shazam. I thought overall it's a really good movie, and it was really, really well done. I like how you get you have a good balance between humor and emotions, and like a good conflict with good characters and well thought out characters. And like for me personally, if I had to rate this film, I'd definitely give it a 4.75 out of 5 because I feel like overall the film is really, really well done. It's shot well, it's thought out well. It has a lot of great moments and everything, and I really want to see Shazam as a character sort of grow. Oh yeah, I also love the costume design. Like Shazam's costume's freaking amazing. Like come on, like you look at that level of detail, like your like fanboyness of like the behind the scenes nerd in me is like freaking the freak out because it's just an amazing costume. I love it. Um, but yeah, like I feel like it's just it's a really, really good film, and it's sort of like it's not trying to be a big film, it's just trying to be an amazing film. So yeah, besides that, those are my final thoughts about Shazam and everything. Feel free to let me know down below in the comments what your thoughts are, because I'd love to hear them. Feel free to do the typical YouTube stuff like the liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Besides it though, my name is Jack Skinner. You guys have a good night. And besides it though, feel free to look at my favorite comic of the week at the end screen, and feel free to check out the review down below. But besides that though, bye, have a good night.